So we have known about the classification of stem cells in broader aspect of either these cells are embryonic stem cells or adult stem cells. But we have to know about the potency and types of stem cells, right? What is potency? We'll know that in this cell. So what is potency in stem cells? Potency is the potential or ability of differentiation, right? Ability or potential to differentiation. Differentiation means to produce different type of cell. Okay, so the cell that is the mother cell, the mother that is one type of cell. But when it has to differentiate and to produce a different type of cell, for say a blood cell, a blood stem cell, mesenchymal stem cell, one type of cell, it has to produce a different type of WBC or RBC. So this is the change in different, that this is the potential to change. So on the basis of this, how much they can how strong they have the potential to differentiate in different lineages, how much they can differentiate. Like if the cell can if the stem cell can differentiate, one stem cell can differentiate in 5 different lineages, 5 type of cell, and one can differentiate in 3 type of cells. So the stem cell that has the potential to differentiate into 5 lineages, we can say that it has the maximum more potency, and other has the less potency. So depending on that fact, that depending on this potency thing, the stem cells, or broadly if I can say, the embryonic and adult stem cells, they can be classified into 4 5, as you can classify them in different groups, like the totipotent, pluripotent, and multipotent, oligopotent, and unipotent. So what is this totipotent stem cells? Totipotent stem cells are those that can develop a completely new individual. That means it can produce all the 3 germ layers that are essential to produce all the bodily parts, like the mesoderm, endoderm, and ectoderm. These 3 germ layers, they can produce all the body parts important to our body. But they will one type of cell, they will have to produce the extraembryonic membrane, that is the placenta, or the other extraembryonic membrane that forms the association with our mother when we are in the mother's womb. So if these cells, there are some cells that, like the here the example, like the cells that are 1 to 3 days old, you have seen that when the blastulation is happening, or the blastula is forming, one cell is becoming 2, 2 becoming 4, 4 becoming 8. So in this stage, when this zygote has just reached 3 days, from this 1 to 3 days, these cells are completely nascent and they can produce all the type of cells, from the cells that can produce hair, from the ability to produce the extraembryonic membrane, like the placenta, umbilical cord, all this. So the cells with the maximum potency, with the stem cells with the maximum potency to produce all the type of cells that are required to form a entire body, those cells has the potency of totipotency, and those stem cells will be called as totipotent stem cells. There are few cells that can produce only these 3 germ layers, like the mesoderm, ectoderm, and endoderm. They cannot produce the extraembryonic membrane, so their potency is little less than the totipotent stem cells, right? So these totipotent stem cells, like the cells that intracellular mass, ICM, ICM, these ICM cells, intracellular mass, that are produced within the blastula, these blastocysts actually have the potency to produce these 3 germ layers, ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. So they can be called as the pluripotent stem cells, like the cells that are produced in the 5 to 14 days of developmental pathway. And the third type of here is the multipotent stem cells. These multipotent stem cells, they can differentiate in multiple lineages, but they cannot produce like all these things, like all the different type of cells, like the pluripotent or totipotent stem cells. Like for example, like the fetal tissue, or the cord blood, or these adult stem cells, you can see this blood cell, blood stem cell, mesenchymal stem cell, for say these are the adult stem cells. They have the potency to differentiate into multiple lineages. Like for this mesenchymal stem cell, they can produce for say the blood cells, right? But they cannot produce nerve cell. So they have the potency to differentiate into different lineages, multiple lineages, but not in that huge amount like the pluripotent or totipotent stem cells. And other two important thing is oligopotent stem cells. They can differentiate into few of these, like the lymphoid stem cells. The adult lymphoid have this type of few stem cells that can produce few lineages. They have the potency less than the multipotent stem cells. And for unipotent stem cells, take an example of adult muscle stem cell. This adult muscle stem cell only can produce this adult muscle stem cell. They cannot produce the other, for say, a bone cell. They cannot produce that. So they are producing only one type of cell. So these cells have unipotent. These are, if these are stem cell, they will be unipotent stem cells. So this five type of potency is there. One is totipotent stem cell, pluripotent stem cell, multipotent, oligopotent, and unipotent stem cells. You can see here. And with time, what happens? With time, this actually, if you follow this developmental process, developmental pathway, you will see firstly these totipotent cells are actually being produced. Then these totipotent stem cells are becoming what at one level. How this actually happening, I will discuss it in later video, later lecture. That totipotent cell, after losing few potency, they are becoming pluripotent stem cells. And all this intercellular mass, pluripotent stem cells, these pluripotent stem cells are producing different type of multipotent stem cells. And after that, with losing this potency, you can see the unipotent stem cells are being produced. One type of cell, they will divide, they will produce only one, specific for that tissue, specific for that region, that stem cells. So this is the broad potency of this stem cell. You can see here, with time, this totipotent stem cells is becoming pluripotent stem cells, and pluripotent stem cells then becoming the multipotent stem cells. If you compare this totipotent stem cells versus the pluripotent stem cells, you can see a clear, there is a difference in the stem cells which are like the totipotent stem cells, which are capable of differentiating into all type of body parts, that is the totipotent stem cells, and stem cells that are capable of differentiating into only the three germ layers, that is the pluripotent stem cells. Totipotent stem cells are capable of differentiating into more than 200 functional distinct type of body cells in human, but pluripotent stem cells are differentiated only, they will produce the germ layers. But totipotent stem cells will produce all this type of body cells that are required to produce a body. The potential of differentiating is optimal in case of totipotent stem cells, and for the pluripotent stem cells, the potential of differentiating is relatively low. The zygote and spore are totipotent. This is the example. The zygote and spore. And embryonic stem cells are the what? The normal bodies, the iPSCs, the intercellular mass, or the iPSCs. We will talk about that. It's induced pluripotent stem cells. Totipotent stem cells are derived early in the developmental process, but pluripotent stem cells follows the totipotency. They will produce in the next step. They are less used in research. These totipotent stem cells are not so used. They are difficult to use in research, as you will know later when you have the ample idea about this thing. And the pluripotent stem cells are, they are more used in pluripotent stem cells. Okay, so this was about the potency.